Assalamu alaikum, guys. What's up? It's Abdurrahman. Welcome to Sobriety Sundays. We are back. Just a little update, right? What we decided to do, I know you guys see me probably getting tired of seeing my face. Me and Khadr decided to take turns interviewing people. It's just a better way for us to work with people, just more personal. He'll be interviewing people sometimes. I'll be interviewing people sometimes. So it might be the last time you see me for a little while. So, you know what I'm saying? Take a good look. But today we have our esteemed guest. What's your name?
Mohammed Hirsi.
Mohammed Hirsi. Man, don't let this boy fool you, man. This is big, original, royal refugee in the building. I don't know which one this is, but...
Oh, shit.
Oh, damn, this is the wrong one. Oh, yeah, that's still... Oh, shit, yeah, you know what it is. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. This is a homie of mine, just like before, I'm just going to ask the questions for y'all, but, you know what I'm saying? It's like I see this guy like an older brother. Respect you a lot, wallahi, bro, and I love you from the bottom of my heart. But so, just to start off, man, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me here. This is my first time doing a podcast.
Okay.
So you gotta bear with me.
No, don't worry about it, man.
I've seen so many of them.
Okay.
To be on like the seat,
yeah,
it's different.
Yeah, I hear you.
But this is for a good cause.
I appreciate it, brother.
What you do has a lot of merit, so that's why I've always.
Could you put the mic a little closer to yourself? I'm sorry, brother.
Thank you for bearing with me. Remember?
Yeah, of course. Don't worry, bro.
So, everything that you do is has a lot of merit. So I'm honored to be here. My name is Mohammed Hirsi. I'm a painter, and I also design clothing. I'm a father.
Okay.
I'm a family man.
Yeah. How many kids you got?
I have 3 boys.
MashaAllah.
I have 3 boys.
Yeah.
I'm in a better place in life.
Alhamdulillah.
And we can get into that. I'll let you lead the way.
I'll continue, man.
Yeah.
Continue,
I mean, that's my intro pretty much. I paint. I design clothing. I've been in the arts for over 10 years now. I had my first exhibit 2013, so this would be the 10-year anniversary. On every year on October 10th, I have my exhibit.
And that's big.
It's a special day. That's when everything started.
Yeah.
October 10th.
Yeah.
I just love the arts. It's the only thing that I've known to do.
Yeah.
And, clothing has been in my family business. It's been in my family for a long time. My mom is in it. My sisters are in it. So it's kind of like a family trade. And I've just always been somebody that's always been in fashion. And so it kind of went hand in hand. But what I started out with was painting.
Yeah.
And then I started selling clothes to get supplies to paint. And then the clothing kind of just flourished on its own.
So the clothing was a means to an end.
Means to an end.
But the real passion was lying in the painting.
It is the painting, yeah, because canvases and paint itself cost a lot of money, and at that time didn't really have much.
Yeah.
So I would create one painting, sell that, and then that couldn't last too long because as you get older the bills get more and whatnot. So I threw Original Royal Refugee on a t-shirt, and I sold that t-shirt, and then I made 10 more, and then those 10 got sold, and then next thing you know I was releasing collections.
And it blew up. Man, I remember seeing that when I was younger, man. It was everywhere. Even a lot of celebrities were wearing it.
It was one of those things where it was not planned.
Yeah.
I didn't have no financial backing.
Yeah.
Just did it. Buy 1, get 2, sell that 2, get 4, double up.
Come on, man. Yeah, that's how you got to do it. What he said, get that quarter, turn to a half.
That's right.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
There's no other way, because our families are, you have a Somali upbringing. Your parents they're not in a position to, especially when you're that young. You can't say, give me $5,000-$10,000
Yeah.
to start a business because you have to help
Yeah.
mom and dad. So
Yeah.
you just got to figure it out on your own.
So how did your family take it, kind of just going into that realm of just saying, you know, Hoy, this, I want to create,
Right.
you know, because I talk to different creators sometimes, you know, whether it's film, art, you know, any type of, you know, art and film the same, but, you know, getting into that road, a lot of times their parents are like, I'm hasubinessa.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hasubinessa. What are you doing? You know, laga kasuga, bila kusuga, you know, like all that type of stuff. So how did your family take it?
My family is very supportive.
Okay.
I have a very supportive structure. Like my sisters are my backbone. My mom has always been supportive of just anything positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was nobody painting in our family,
Mm-hmm.
so obviously it was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What is this? What are you doing?
Yeah. Until they seen the outcome and it was
Yeah,
fire, they're
and
like, oh.
and then, you know, when you turn into it, when it turns into something, then, you know, but art in general at that time, you know, you can relate to that. Families didn't understand that, especially some
100%.
families. Yeah, you know, they just didn't understand it. They didn't
Yeah.
understand what art was, to make a living of it. And I liked school, but I didn't like school. I wasn't really, my heart wasn't really there.
Yeah.
So I knew designing and painting was something that I could see myself doing for like 16, 20 hours and
Yeah.
not sweat, you know, like not be overwhelmed.
Real passion.
Yeah, I just loved it.
Yeah.
Just loved fashion. I just loved textile. I just loved garments. I loved painting. Just being in that setting was home for me.
So if I want to ask, man, so like, you know, getting into that, you know, you started out with nothing, right? You started out with, you know, 0 to 1 to 2, you know what I mean? Just to paint. But during that kind of process, the clothing took off and you were suddenly under this spotlight. How did you take that?
It was unfamiliar.
Yeah.
You know, you wanna have somebody wear your T-shirt that's like that plays for the Wolves or somebody like that, and when you see that for the first time,
Yeah.
you know, it just makes your dreams that much true. Especially when you're coming from a place where it's like you were in this room by yourself.
Yeah.
You created this shirt by yourself. You saw it being worn by somebody that's on TV, and seeing that come true, that's not something that I planned for. So when you see that happen, and I saw that in a game, and this is like 2012, that's when like every possibility was possible at that point.
Yeah.
And I knew, I just trusted my arm. I just trusted my design, and I just trusted
Your craft.
my craft. Yeah, you know, I knew what I loved could be the way.
Yeah.
And I just pushed on. I just relied on that, and I just, you know, just kept faith. And you know, so I was unfamiliar with it in the beginning because I didn't have any knowledge on how to sustain that from like a financial place. So, you know, I'm still growing up, right? So there's no guidance. You have to kind of just learn that on your own. So I burned a lot of things that I made. So I would earn it in ways that I couldn't imagine, and then it would go out in ways that I hoped it didn't go out like that.
Yeah.
You know, but I had to learn that way, which is good for me to fall.
You know, I feel like navigating in life is just like that. You know, a good mentor of mine told me, I think at the time I was 23, they were like, Abdurrahman, do you know how to be 23? And I was like, what do you mean? What type of question is that? And he was like, do you know how to be 23? I was like, I guess not. You know, I just turned 23 recently. He's like, but you know how to be 22, right? I was like, yeah, because I lived that life. I passed 22.
Right.
So I know what 22 is like. He was like, okay, do you know how to be 24? No. He's like, but in this moment, you're 23. Do you know how to be 23? I was like, no. He's like, because as time goes, this whole life, we're just winging it.
Right.
We don't know what tomorrow brings. All we know is what happened yesterday. Even today, what happens, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make it home tonight. I don't know if a meteor strikes right here on the street. what the hell am I gonna do? I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like in life in general, you know, you live and learn. Tables turn, bridges burn. You live and learn. You know the quote.
Yeah.
It's just like that's part of life. And in terms of like, you know, the mistakes, you know, they just happen. But it's part of the craft. You know, you drop some stuff, you pick it back up, dust yourself off, and just rinse, repeat cycle.
It's a repeat cycle. That's exactly. That's the best way put.
Yeah.
You know, just from beginning to end.
Yeah.
How you said it is exactly. There's no other way to fashion that.
So I met you. You said that you do your exhibits October 10th every year, right? And just to recall, I met you about 2 years ago, October 10th, 2021.
Yeah.
Right, a year and a half ago. Right, and it was one of the most profound exhibits I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you.
Just want to let you know that.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And I came in as a fan.
Yeah.
You know, talk to us a little bit about that. What was that exhibit about? Because I actually seen that exhibit on the news.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember you showed me your work. This is before it got released everywhere.
Yeah.
I recall that very well.
It's a cry for help.
Yeah, and wallahi, you were at the stage of shooting the video.
Yeah.
And it was raw.
Mm-hmm.
It was raw audio.
Yeah.
And it was moving.
Appreciate it, bro.
To see that day, and then I see it now.
Yeah.
And there's times I would see it in like European feeds.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you with like these famous scholars and that happened in the brink of a year, not even a year.
Yeah.
So mashallah, you know.
I appreciate that.
I remember that exhibit. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I came into that exhibit. It was after my recovery.
Yeah.
I took 3 years where I didn't do the exhibit.
Yeah.
COVID, and I was in treatment at the time.
Yeah.
So this is after treatment.
Okay.
It was my first comeback into this world that's a part of me, but yet I was unfamiliar with, because
100%.
I was like a completely, totally different person when I came out of treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a long time for me to come back to that canvas, let alone announce the exhibit.
Yeah.
So before it got on the news, before it was anywhere like that, the formation of it, that process of it was very extensive for me mentally. You know, for me to create a body of work and then accept that work and then decide like, okay, I'm going to showcase this. You know, it took a while to get to that. There was a big part of me that didn't want to paint again.
Yeah.
After treatment, because a lot of turmoil and a lot of pain came with my craft, and I did that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when I first started painting, it was pure.
Yeah.
There was nothing that was wrong with it. But as life goes on, you know, I made it what it was. You know, I brought that paint onto it, and I made it ugly.
It's not ugly though.
It's not. It's a part of me. It's the only thing that I know how to do.
Yeah.
So you can imagine me sitting there saying to myself, like, you've been doing this for 10 years, and it's the only thing there was a time in my life where you're like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And you're doing it, and there's no, like, second guessing anything. And here I am, like, was this even real?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, that exhibit, it meant a lot more than those paintings. It was a rebuild.
Yeah.
It's a rebuilding thing, and I
Redemption.
needed that, because I was like, if I could do that part, if I could showcase again, then I know it would be like a start of a new chapter for me.
So all of that kind of, you know, spotlight coming on after you, after 3 years of kind of just going ghost and trying to focus on yourself, going down the path that you did and battling the things that you did, how did it feel, you know? I want to just really quickly interject, because, you know, sometimes it's like with artists, it's like you'll go through some shit and you won't do any work. And like with myself, it's like I wrote poetry throughout my teenage years. I went to tons of open mics to share my work a lot, and I used to love it. Well, when I went through my addiction, I didn't do any of that. Still wrote, but I never shared it. Going back into my recovery process, when I first started sharing my art, I was so hesitant to, and it was because I felt like it wasn't worthy, because of the fact of the matter that I felt like what it told, the story that it told, wasn't worth telling.
Right.
It was like, it was ugly,
Right.
but it's not. It's
But it's not,
powerful.
yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some of that stuff that
Yeah,
that you wrote then,
yeah,
I guess, has a lot more bearing now
yeah,
compared to some of your other work, I believe, because
Yeah.
there's so much emotion
yeah,
that is carried with that piece, because you did it in a place of just no hope,
yeah,
right? Like you're just out,
yeah.
and to just initiate that takes a lot.
Yeah, you know, it's the sad thing about it is, like, when you think about it, the reason why you feel all of that is because of stigma, you know?
Right.
It's not because of, it's that imposter syndrome, you know, of thinking that you're not worthy of sharing that. It doesn't come from, you know, that it's not beautiful, what you went through and how you overcame it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That idea of redemption. It's because of the world makes you feel like that.
Right.
It's almost as if me coming out to share my story, I felt like it wasn't worth it because the idea of my recovery wasn't socially acceptable. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So it's like, man, it's beautiful. You owning your truth and coming back. I was taken aback. Wallahi, you don't even know. And I didn't even know you when I watched that. I almost broke down into tears because I was like, damn, you know? And it's like the idea of recovery is crazy because when you're going through your addiction, you feel like you're the only nigga going through it.
Yeah, and then
You realize and you're like, damn, there's niggas just like me.
the time when you were showing me the
Yeah.
the piece,
Yeah,
the timing of it was like identical
yeah,
in a way, because it's like it was not staged,
yeah.
and that's how
We
how
connected, yeah.
that's how we connected, and everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
And it's hard to believe that when you're going through the hard times,
yeah,
and I don't blame anybody for not believing that, because it's hard.
yeah. Hard to understand it too.
Yeah, yeah. But everything, when the stigma,
Yeah,
those things play a big role
yeah,
into being able to see past the hard times. So, no, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for every piece of it.
Yeah.
There's what keeps you going is, you know how dark that room is of addiction,
yeah,
and there wasn't any videos like this. There was no
Yeah.
Abdurrahman that can say, there's another chapter. You just got to keep going. You just got to keep waking up tomorrow.
Yeah.
The value of it is mountains. So it has a lot of value.
Appreciate it, bro. What you're doing right now has a lot of value.
It's out of my comfort zone, but I know I must do things.
Yeah,
I must do things that are out of my comfort zone, because I have to.
that's
You
cool.
have to. Every human being has to. This addiction is very, very heartbreaking.
Yeah,
It's a curse,
yeah,
and I say that because no one deserves to go through it.
yeah,
But, Qadr of Allah, you can't not go through it. Whatever is meant for you is going to happen to you. But we're only human. We are emotional beings, no
Yeah.
matter how tough you are. This addiction can only be treated with the help of the masses, not 10, 20 people, with the help of the masses. You need each person's help. There's a lot of suffer that comes with it. There's a lot of broken relationships that comes with it. And it takes a heavy toll on you. It takes a lot for you to come back from that, to mend those relationships. and it'll leave you different. I could safely say that, right? It'll leave you scarred. It'll leave you with a lot of trauma. But for me, what made it worse was the position that I was in. I wasn't shielded, right? Because I had a lot of outlets to me. Like there's a lot of things that I was connected to. And so like the fall was harder for me.
Yeah.
The fall was a lot more harder. It made a lot more damage. And it took longer too. It wasn't just, you lost your job, you broke your car, and that's it. For me, it was a lot more.
Yeah, I feel like with relationships, it's the hardest part of recovery.
Right.
It's trying to reconnect and rekindle with those that you've hurt.
Yeah.
But it takes time, and the idea is committing to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And over time, it might rekindle or it might not. But at the end of the day, the idea is that like you just have to take that accountability, and understand the people that you've hurt. You know what I mean? Send your condolences. And if the person wants to reconnect, they do. And if not, you wish them the best. But, that's part of the steps. And this is just, that acknowledgement and trying to rekindle those bridges. But, it's part of addiction. It's part of a life that we have to deal with.
Yeah. That much is true.
Let me ask you a question. So, let's backtrack to 2012.
Right.
You are, you're doing it. You started a clothing brand, and you got the Timberwolves wearing it. You started your painting, exhibits every year. The spotlight's on you. Where did addictions kind of mesh in this picture? Because I want to say one more thing is like, I feel like with artists it's a little different because a lot of times people don't know that there are a lot of artists that struggle with addiction. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's almost as if it's like there's a certain character or persona to addiction, but it's not the case. Yeah. And so it's like, I know a lot of struggling artists, and I know a lot of artists in recovery as well. Yeah. So like, how did that kind of connect into your life?
It is a cliche.
Yeah.
To be like an artist, and then the artist has a drug habit. No. I
wasn't saying it was a cliche. I'm saying that in the Somali community.
No, I mean, even me.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of that.
Okay, yeah.
Majority of the artists that I've seen.
Yeah.
Before I was even using heavy, they didn't live here. They live in other states.
Like New York, LA and stuff. Yeah,
other places. And then these people, some would overdose. You would never hear about them.
Yeah.
But these are like graffiti artists, and these are like
on the come up.
Yeah, sculptors and like regular people. So yes, it's prevalent there.
Yeah.
It's been there for ages.
Yeah.
From time. For me, I didn't start out with like heavy addiction.
Yeah.
I had my regular, youth.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like experiences,
right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't somebody that relied on drugs to function every day.
It's more recreational at that time.
Right. I was just like, if you want to call it that, right? But it was not even in my radar.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that, I would even feel guilty because I've always been faithful at heart. So I've always had that guilt, no matter what, even in any setting. So, like using drugs daily, that came with the opioids, with the pill, not like the what's going on. It's killing people right now. At that time, I was getting prescribed. I had a knee surgery, and then that's how I got hooked on. The doctor was like a pill mill, pretty much. He was collecting health insurance. That's what he wanted. So he told me in order for me to do my physical therapy, I would have to continue taking these medications or else I won't be able to recover. And I wanted to travel. Yeah. So I couldn't leave the city. I had to do this. I was on a knee brace. I was getting like fluids drained from my knee. So I'm just listening to a doctor, right? Yeah. So he gives me the first prescription. I take one, I throw up. I don't take it again. I go to my next visit and he's like, listen, you're not going to be able to heal unless you take these you know,
These pills.
these pills in addition to these anti-inflammatory meds. So I was taking both of them. I got used to it. My body got used to it, and at that time, I saw myself completely different. Like my ability, I was working longer hours.
Yeah.
Happily.
You were able to endure things.
Yeah, it was just like completely, just like out of body, right?
Yeah.
I would see myself not sleeping for like 2 days, functioning, like just taking care of things that would be normal for me to take time to take care of. But I'm like, finishing paintings in like a day or two. And then at the same time, I'm traveling that night and coming back in 2 days and attending to family. And I knew.
But you just chill throughout all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling any of it, but I knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
I knew this is not Muhammad. Like there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
But you're so up.
Yeah.
You're not gonna sit there and say, "Let me pump the brakes." You're not. As a human being, you're just not gonna do that. Like if I'm continuously giving you $1 million a day,
you're benefiting from it.
you're not gonna stop and say, "Yo, stop giving me a meal." You're not gonna.
That's
do
a
that.
fact. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't have nothing to tell me to stop. So that's how I got hooked on opioids, and then fast forward, taking that every day for 8 months.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm addicted.
Yeah.
And then the doctor lets me go, and the rest is just downfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like you've been there.
Yeah.
So you can help me. You can help me explain some of this
I feel like it's like
process of
early on. It's like as time goes on, it's not something that you notice. For me, myself, I knew the benefit for me using drugs was that I didn't have to deal with any pain. But for me, it wasn't physical pain. It was more so what I was dealing with, the trauma I was dealing with, the things I didn't want to think about. So for me, it started with weed, then to Xanax, and then to Percocet, and then to fentanyl. So for me, it was like kind of like doop, 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 doop. And it was very quick for me. And there was a period of time throughout 2017 where I was dibbling and dabbling with everything into 2018, and then I stuck with fentanyl. But like for me, it was like I don't think I realized it was a problem until I think like 2018. But like even then, I knew my lifestyle was a problem. I noticed that outcome and consequences of my actions. I just couldn't pinpoint which action it was, because I was out here doing drugs. You know what I mean? I was doing crimes. I was involved in some bad stuff with some bad people. You know what I mean? Around the wrong crowd. And so it was like there was all these bad things happening to me. But I would try to figure out which of the things I was doing was creating these bad things. And I never, ever ruled out drugs.
Right.
That was the last thing I ruled out.
right.
First, it was like, it's the
Everything
people
else.
I'm around,
Everything else
First it was like, actually, I'm not going to steal anymore. I'm not going to, do these crimes anymore. I'm going to stay away from jail. That's the problem. Then I was like, you know what? I got to stay away from the people I'm around. I'm getting shot at. You know what I'm saying? My friends are dying. I got to stay away from, this type of area, this type of lifestyle. Then I was like, you know what? It's the pills. So I'm going to just smoke and drink, but it always lead me back to the pills. And then I had to cut it off altogether. But it was like a long process. I'm talking about 2 years of just trying to like...
turmoil.
trying to figure it out.
Right.
So, I mean, it was... And during that time period, I feel like is the most strenuous time on your mind because it's like you're overthinking, you're figuring out what it is, you're depressed. I feel like before that, you're just enjoying it. But you can't really enjoy it. But when you kind of break the matrix, then you're like, damn, my life is shit.
Right.
And then that's when you're trying to figure it out. But it's like a cycle because while you're trying to figure it out, that your life is in a bad place. You're getting so stressed out. So what do you do to cope? Go use the drugs again. And then it's just like a whole cycle. And it just continues and continues until you just break it.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy just to like recollect.
Yeah.
You're like doing the series of like.
Because I'm just thinking and I see it. Like it's like you see it.
You blame it on everything else but yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was my biggest downfall in a way because, I was able to, I could enable myself.
Yeah.
So I always put myself in a position like I could never be what I'm doing.
Yeah.
right? It has to be everything else
Except for me.
me, right? I'm taking care of everything. I'm
Yeah.
doing all these things. Why am I feeling this way? And that happens so fast.
Yeah.
But the people that are just starting out
Yeah.
and that are struggling now,
Yeah.
there's words won't do anything.
Yeah.
Maybe they could.
Yeah.
Maybe they won't, but it won't hurt to say it. So, this is me saying it. Like, if you can try one thing, if you can try to stop for a second and say that it's me,
Yeah.
I am picking this drug, and the drug is the enemy.
Yeah.
If you can stop and say that, I feel like that might give you the victory might be quicker.
Yeah.
But either way, you're gonna go through a process. May Allah make that process easier for everyone.
Yeah.
I wish if there was one push button you could push, you would push it.
Yeah.
That's not the way the world works. So
It'd be nice if it was, though.
yeah, but I can't give any advices. What I could do is just share my struggles and just give the help that I can give.
So what was your switch to the flip? When did you notice, that this was an issue? Because there was a time period where you didn't like it, and then there was a time period where you were forced to take it by your provider.
Right.
And then during that time period, you knew that it was an issue, or you knew that something was wrong.
Something was wrong.
And then you continued to do it, and then it kind of got out of hand.
At that time, things were so good, and everybody was so happy around me.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine just everything unnaturally just going one level high.
Yeah.
Like your attitude, your ability you're saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
You can ask Muhammad anything, I'll say yes.
Yeah.
And I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it'll happen. And I'm a part of everything. And I am happy with everything.
Everything just seems so much more manageable.
Everything is a go, right? And then you build this image where it's not really you.
Yeah.
Right? You're a human being. You can't say yes to everything.
Yeah.
I knew something was wrong when everything is just working out way too easily.
Yeah.
Everything is just working out way too easily, and I'm okay with everything.
Yeah.
But just fast forwarding towards the end, when you'll lose everything.
Yeah.
You'll be down to nothing.
Yeah, and it's so
it happens so fast.
Yeah.
And then at that point, there's a stage in between there where you're recovering, you're using more because you get a glimpse. You just think briefly about the things that you've lost, and they're so heartbreaking that you will go on a binge just because of that.
Yeah. The cycle.
That one moment.
It's vicious.
Yeah, and then there's so many of those moments. So like you said, it's a hole that you can't come out of. But when I knew that when I was selling my paintings to people for pennies on a dollar, art dealers or people that were, for numbers that I would never sell it to.
Yeah.
I knew at that point, I'm like, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And I'm losing it now at this point. And this is internal at this point. And then people start noticing around, people start leaving, people have inputs, right? They're just telling you how things are not happening. They're not saying, you need help, right? They're saying, why are you not saying yes?
Yeah.
That stage, you're familiar with that
They're
stage.
talking more about the side effects of it than the root.
Yep, how it affects them.
Yeah.
Right? But nobody's ever going to tell you,
how are you doing?
How are you doing? Can I help you?
Yeah.
And I was a person that you couldn't say, can I help you? I could never have a problem.
Yeah. So it felt almost as if it was kind of like in a way betrayal.
Yeah. How could you even say that I have a problem?
Yeah.
That's what killed me more.
Yeah.
But you lose it all.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Yeah.
It doesn't take hard to figure out. You come down to zero.
Yeah.
And at that point, you just got to make a decision.
Yeah.
If this is going to be your permanent life, or is there something within you that you can hold on to? And for me, it was faith. It was my deen, and for me, it was just okay, Ilahi, if this is it, make it swift.
Yeah. there's a lot of people that they get into recovery and it's like their addiction never happened to them, which is most people, right? In Islam, we do believe that our mistakes don't define us, right?
Right.
And that at the end of the day, there's always hope to become better than who you were yesterday,
Right.
right? But so a lot of people, when it comes to recovery, it's almost as if it's like something that's never happened.
Right.
They almost accept as if it wasn't a part of their life.
Right.
There are very few people who, one, speak about their journey, and then two, put it into an art for the whole world to see.
Right. That takes a lot.
Right. So, at one point, did you accept that this actually happened to you?
Well, I lost my kids.
Yeah.
You know, that was a strike that I knew I'm gonna fight back.
Yeah.
Like I knew when I lost my kids, I'm like, I've never been defeated to that level.
Yeah.
So the money, all of that can like, okay, strip to nothing, but I'm gonna get my kids back. By any way, I'm gonna get them back, which I did.
Yeah.
And then everything else can come after. But I knew I had to put my religion before everything. That's the only way I'd be able to sustain whatever is to come after this. And that took a while for me to figure out. Like for me to figure out that, listen, whatever worldly things that you love, Muhammad, that has to come second to your deen. Ilahi has to come first. Once I figured that out, then I was able to just kind of like navigate what's to come next. But I had to start small. I had to go slow. And I had to take my time. So that's why it took 3 years for me to just stand in front of a canvas. Because you're rebuilding that, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
Getting those people back, for you to just get trust.
Yeah. I had to share my location with my whole family for a year. I still have my location actually to this day, bro. Like I couldn't even leave the house.
Isn't that crazy? And how fast that happens. So
yeah.
you have to redo that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a father, you can imagine. It's different.
Yeah.
So the rebuilding for me, wallahi, made me stronger than ever. Alhamdulillah for that. But I knew I had to start small.
Yeah.
I had to go slow. And if painting was meant for me, I'd come back to it some way.
Ilahi will bring you to it.
Yeah, it'll bring me. I'll get there.
Yeah.
Ilahi will bring me there. And if not, wallahi, I was okay with it, to let it go.
Yeah.
But I knew if it was meant for me, I'll find my way back to it in a way that's befitting me. And that's where I'm at today. Alhamdulillah, a million folds. I'm sharing this story to not to talk about good times because somebody that's hurting. It doesn't do them justice to listen to this.
Yeah.
So,
but it's bro, let me tell you something, bro.
Yeah.
It's those moments of defeat,
Right.
where you find your victory.
Right.
It's in those moments of defeat,
Right.
where you find the keys to your success.
Right.
It's in those moments of all those closed doors.
Right.
They're leading you to the road that's meant for you.
Right.
You know, and it's like that's what addiction does to you.
Right.
But when you connect to Ilahi, it's like the key. It's there. Allah shows you the key.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you get thrown in a ditch to find gold at the bottom of the ditch.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yep.
But it's those moments of defeat, and recovery is all about accepting defeat.
Right.
It's
You have to.
accepting that and that's the crazy thing about it, right? Is recovery is a submission,
Right.
and Islam is submission.
Yeah. It goes hand in hand.
It's just the idea that you
Right.
are worthless without Allah.
Yep.
Right?
Understanding that.
and understanding that without Allah you can't do anything.
Yep.
And so it's like in those moments of defeat,
Alhamdulillah.
and you turn to Allah in those moments of defeat,
I'm glad.
Allah will give you izzah.
Yep.
He'll give you the honor. He'll give you the strength that you can carry, and it will bring you further than anything can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think I would have gotten this close to Ilahi if I didn't go through all those things.
Yeah. I'd say the same thing about
Wallahi,
myself.
I don't think I would have had the connection. I would not have been this grateful. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I had to get stripped away from everything.
Yeah.
Like that's the only way. So that's like another dimension of it.
Yeah.
And that's the only dimension. But I also want to like talk about this other aspect of it where it's like, okay, that's the qadr of ilahi, no matter what.
Yeah.
You cannot dodge that. But go about it differently. Like put ilahi first and accept that you have an addiction. I wish I did that earlier. I probably would have been able to save what I've lost.
Yeah.
That's me speaking relationships and like just turmoil and like just the trauma, right? I would have been able to rid myself from that in-depth damage that I've done to my loved ones. But alhamdulillah, nonetheless. So, but you're right. You have to submit. You have to accept that you're hurting and be okay with it. Yeah, just be okay with it. So,
thank you so much, bro. That I want to appreciate you first for being vulnerable and telling a story like that. I know it's not easy to tell.
right.
You know what I mean? But I want to commend you for saying that because it is it's beautiful.
Right.
You know, I feel like as a man, it's hard to accept defeat.
Right.
It's hard to talk about moments of weakness.
Right.
And it's hard to be vulnerable.
Right.
So I want to let you know, man, you're strong telling me things like this. You're strong telling people things like this because it's in those moments of weakness that you empower other people. Because everybody has those moments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's probably people watching this video right now that are probably struggling with the same thing.
Right. Man,
You know what I mean?
you make it that much more closer because, you know, your effort is what encourages me. Like, you know, I wish I could do that.
But you
right?
are.
You
You're
know
doing
what I
that
mean?
right now.
So it was ilahi, like when I see, okay, Muhammad, this is the place where you could pick your pocket right here to take the line a little bit farther. For me to be able to even get that opportunity, that's a blessing on its own right there. Yeah. Alhamdulillah for that. But like people like you and what you do it has a lot of value. It has a lot of merit. So I'm just glad to even partake in this.
Thank you so much, brother. We're going to ask you 2 questions and then we're going to let you go. And the 2 questions, the first question is, what is your darkest moment in your addiction? And what would you say is the most fulfilling moment in your recovery?
Darkest moment in my addiction is the day my kids left the state.
Yeah.
They went to Canada.
Yeah.
And at that point, I had nothing to my name.
Yeah.
And they left with a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
So I knew when they got on that flight,
They're gone.
tomorrow morning I'm not going to be able to see them.
Yeah.
That was dark for me. That took a lot. So my lightest was post-recovery, the day they landed back in the city.
Yeah.
And I picked them up from the airport. That was the light.
Your kids are your everything.
My kids are, you know, they were my token of, Muhammad, you have to do this.
Yeah.
I had them when I was in the midst of this
Yeah.
addiction, so it was like a personal fight.
Yeah.
So I had to do it.
Yeah.
So that was my highlight.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah for every part of it.
So my last question is, brother, what are 3 takeaways, 3 advices that you can give to somebody that might be in your shoes right now, somebody that might be watching this right now, right? That you can give to them, you know, somebody going through addiction, somebody sitting right now, maybe going through withdrawals, somebody maybe in the same position that you was in, right? What are 3 advices you can give them?
The first one is, Ilahi is closer to you than you think.
Yeah.
So just knowing that Ilahi is Ilahi,
Yeah.
don't ever lose that.
Yeah.
No matter how low on the ground you are, just acknowledgement of Ilahi is Ilahi. You know,
Yeah.
Muslim, don't lose that.
Yeah.
That'll save you all the way from here and after. The second thing would be the people that are trying to help you, don't push them away.
Yeah.
don't push them away too hard because they're human, and you could push them far where they can't come back.
Yeah.
So just take it lightly on them as much as possible, because they're the ones that you're gonna need their hand.
Yeah.
You're gonna need their hand when you're like emotionally just at zero, and you need to come back. So take it easy on them. You're gonna need them more than you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then the third one would be just pray. Pray to Ilahi.
Yeah.
There's no other advice that I could give to you, because that's the only advice that matters.
Thank you so much, Mohammed, for sharing your story with us. You know, I feel like if we were to just sit here, we can talk for hours, but this battery's about to die soon. Yeah. So, you know, inshallah, you know, I just wanted to thank you for saying everything that you do, because I know that I know it's hard. It's not easy talking about this, you know, and it just shows your intention, your integrity, and your sincerity. And I ask that Allah blesses you, from the highest heavens.
Yeah. For
that,
all of
you know
us.
what I mean?
For all of us.
And I hope that you impact so many people with this, you know, and that every person that changes, that I think you know what I mean? Because it's real. You know what I mean?
Inshallah.
It's love and it's big.
Man, inshallah. And for you, you know, what can be said? Like, it's just don't stop.
We got this, man.
Yeah, just don't stop.
Recovery is possible.
Yeah, just don't stop. It truly makes a difference, more than you know. So, you know, alhamdulillah, just don't stop.
Inshallah.
I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.